Do you think the Niners will go offense or defense with their first pick? Now, their top pick is 61. They could trade up. We don't know when their first pick, or they could trade down. We don't know when their first pick will be, but whenever it is, do you think they'll go offense or defense, and why?
I looked back and I tried to see the trend, and I thought to myself, well, the trend is defense, right? And no, it turns out it's pretty even when you look at the totality of first round picks, or even just shrinking it down to their first overall pick. So first rounders, you obviously started with Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster. Then you got Mike McGlinchey, and you got Nick Bosa. Then you got Javon Kinlaw, Brandon Ayuk, and obviously ending last year with Trey Lance. So you can't really spot a clear-cut trend there. I mean, it's obviously something that's always said about the 49ers is they like to invest in the defensive line quite heavily, and that has borne out over the Shanahan-Lynch tenure. They already spent this year's first rounder on offense. Therefore, in Trey Lance, my prediction is that they will go defense. I see it specifically that the 49ers either go edge rusher or safety. Those are the two positions that I feel are the most likely. And I think it's because, to me, the Niners need an impact player with that first pick. And I believe that they would get substantially more impact from one of those two positions than they could from, say, an interior O-line pick.
Yeah, I mean, the Niners spent their top 3 picks last year on offense. So you could think, Trey Lance, Aaron Banks, Trey Sermon, they're probably going to go defense here.
Right.
I don't like it. I don't think they should go defense here. I mean, first of all, most of their signings this offseason have been defense.
Fair point.
Ridgeway, Burks, Odom, Hyder, Ward, Denard. I mean, on offense, their offensive addition is Ray McLeod. That's it. They lost Tomlinson, Compton, and Mostert, added Ray McLeod. That's it. And again, you're bringing in a new quarterback.
Yes.
He's never been a starter before. He started 1 year in college. He started 1 year in high school. You might want to help him. I know you tried with Aaron Banks and Trey Sermon, but I'm saying, you might not want to stop there. I really think that they should probably spend their first pick on offense, and then they got 2 picks in round 3. One of those should be on offense too. They could probably justify spending all 3 on offense. Now, they do need a starting safety, but they're going to say that's George Odom. They do need a starting nickel. Maybe they'll get that, although
they may think that's Emmanuel Mosley.
They may think that's Deommodore Lenoir or Emmanuel Mosley. Honestly, if they could get a wide receiver who could get down the field and 1 or 2 offensive linemen, I couldn't be mad at it. I mean, it's exactly what they freaking need. But part of me feels like they're going to do what you're saying. It's like, nah, we went 3 offensive linemen last year. We're not going to really pivot or react to what's in front of us. We're just going to keep building the way we build. So let's go. Let's get an edge rusher.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I mean, they need an edge rusher. Sure. That's an important position. Great. Hard to knock it. But at a certain point, are they ever going to give Trey Lance any help or consideration? Like, hey, man, you're on your own, bud. It's cold world out there, buddy. Sorry. I don't know what you're expecting.
Cold damn world out there.
Sorry. What? I don't know. I mean, you don't want to, if BPA at 61 is edge rusher, so be it. I'm sure you can get a really good one, but
that's the question mark, because Kyle Shanahan admitted as much at the coach's breakfast, and maybe he only admitted it because his head was clouded by the immense hangover that he had. But he did say that, well, it's not ideal that the draft comes after free agency. It would be better if you could draft first and then go free agency, because then you could draft best player available and take them no matter what, and then fill the rest of the holes with free agency, because then you can go out and overpay for the positions that you want. But instead, with the order of operations as it currently stands, he sort of laid it out as, well, you got 22 boxes up there, and you got to make sure that you have checked those 22 boxes, meaning that you have 22 starters on offense and defense. I feel like the 49ers have, I don't know, at least 3 question marks in boxes when you put up those 22. Yes. And that's going to limit their ability to go best player available. I think they're going to have to jump around and grab the players that they want at positions of need. And that means that they're not going to have the fortune of allowing the draft to come to them. They're going to have to go and attack the draft. And oftentimes what that means is you're not getting value. You're not getting that guy who fell 15 slots and is now an enormous value for your team. No, you're reaching for the dude that you are scared you're going to miss out on.
Right. You're reaching for the offensive tackle at the end of round 2. Right. Because you don't know what to do at offensive tackle because you couldn't afford Lyle Collins. Like, knowing damn well that most good offensive tackles are off the board in the first round, you're hoping you can get a guy that no one else saw at the end of round 2. Or you are reaching for a guard that
Right.
probably should be going in round 4 like you did last year with Aaron Banks. That's
Yeah.
what everyone's when the Niners took Aaron Banks, they were like, we fourth day 3. Hey, the Niners, they're a good team. They must know, but wow. That's what everyone said. So you could do that too. It seems like everyone's saying there's a historically good wide receiver class this year. That might be dried up by the end. Like that's the tail end could be 61. Maybe you should take the best wide receiver available. Nothing wrong with that. Your best wide receiver now plays running back half the time.
If they had gotten a second or a third for Jimmy, I felt legitimately confident that they had enough draft picks to address their areas of concern. Because I do believe that they have 3, you could maybe argue 4 areas of concern that if they don't address in the draft, they will have to double dip back into that free agency pool. And maybe that's their plan. Maybe they say to themselves, May 10th, that's the deadline. As soon as that passes, we're going to get some of those cheap guys. We're going to get some of those guys that are still out there, and we'll make do. But to me, I guess I go the route of defense in the hopes that those are deep enough positions where they won't be reaching at that point, where they'll still have multiple players available who could be impact players. And if they do go for a position of need that you might argue is the biggest position of need, if they go, hey, we need a guard, we need somebody who might be able to transition to play center when Alex Mack retires. If you do that at 61, it does feel like you're reaching. Unless, one of the top guys has fallen at that point, it feels much better to get one of those guys in the middle or late third round. And so to me, that value for the second round pick has got to be an impact player.
You dipped the chip, you took a bite, and then you dipped again. You can't be caught double dipping out here, all right? Enough. You dipped again. Just eat the chip and be done with it, 49ers. That's the lesson for today. I think that applies to Jimmy Garoppolo in your offseason somehow.